Yo! So now we can shoot and we can jump on our enemies. So let's keep working on this combat system we got going on. Sorry. Right. So how do we make this more interesting? I mean, other than making the enemies move and all that, let's give them health. Right? Let's jump to like something that's actually kind of cool. And to do so, we're gonna go here on our events, and we're gonna copy a group, paste it there, right at the start. The order is important. This one needs to be right before we do anything else. And we're gonna call this one at the start. We can put of the scene. Of the scene. What is a scene? It's basically a level. So at the start of the level, these events are gonna do that. Oh my god, my OCD is like being triggered. There you go. Why did you capitalize start but not scene? Right. So Shift A, drag and drop underneath. And now we're gonna add the condition at the beginning of the scene. There you go. You need to almost finish typing the whole thing for this one to show up. But at the beginning of the scene, and we're just gonna press OK. This one's pretty self-explanatory, right? Is at the start of the scene, at the start of the level, when you press preview, right, and the whole thing loads up, the events with this condition are gonna take priority, and they're gonna go first, and they're gonna go in order, right, from top to bottom. And that's how GDevelop reads your events, right? It starts at the top, then it starts reading one by one all the way to the bottom. And when it reaches the bottom, it goes back up, and then it goes again, right? So the order of events is very important. We're going to close this one for now. So at the beginning of the scene, we're going to add the action. And now this one's going to be a bit scary because we're going to start using variables. And variables can be a bit of a boogeyman when you start working on GDevelop because it's like, oh my god, what is a variable? And a variable is basically a value with a name. And there's different kinds of it. Just like when you're writing a sentence, there's different kinds, right? That you can do words, you can do numbers, you can do like signs, right? It's just that. You don't need to overthink this. The best way to learn about variables and what they do is to just use them and to play around with them, see how stuff works, and then change them around and do things by yourself, right? But for now, just follow along, and things are gonna start clicking in your head. You're gonna like, oh yeah, this how this stuff works. And the more you use it, the more you'll get used to it. So it is one of those cases where just learn by doing, and you'll be fine. Right. So how do we start? How do we give our enemies health? We're gonna do object number variable. And we're going to change the number variable of an object. We're going to see the tooltip underneath says general objects. This is the one we want. So we click that. And which object? Enemies. Enemies. And the variable, we're going to call it health. Did I type it wrong? No. That's how you type health, right? Oh my! Sometimes you just have a bit of a brain fart, and you're like, "How do you spell that again?" I think I got it right. Anyways, in the value, we're gonna put it to, let's say, 3. So 3 health. Okay. So now at the beginning of the scene, we're gonna create a variable health of enemies. Not enemies, it's enemy. 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 There we go. He's screaming at me saying like, you spelled this wrong, you dimwit. Right, so anyways, at the start of the scene, we're going to change the variable health of enemies and we're going to set it to 3. Basically, when the level begins, we're going to create this thing called health, and it's going to have the value of 3 on each one of our enemies on the scene. So basically now it started. So each one of these now has a value within them, inside them, because it's an object variable, so it's specific to objects. And it's just this value that says health equal 3. And it's inside each of these guys. So each of these has health equal 3. Right? But right now, you hit him, it does nothing. Right? It just does the thing it's been doing so far. So how do we make this whole health combat system work? Well, now we got the health. We just need to apply it to our damage. So we're going to go to shooting bullet. And now, where it says we create the bullet. Now here is when the bullet is in collision with the enemy. Instead of just straight up deleting the enemy, let's create a new event. And we're going to drag and drop or delete the enemy down there to the new event. Now we have it's in collision with enemy, delete bullet. And we're going to add a new action. And it's going to be change object number variable. Right? It's the same we did at the beginning of the scene. And the object is going to be enemy. The variable is going to be health. And I'm going to set it to nope. Like, it's a game, right? We hit the enemy with a bullet. We're going to subtract 1. Right? We're going to hit and we're going to damage him by 1. So we're going to take away 1. We're going to subtract 1. So subtract value of 1. And okay. And that's it. That's good. Just remember, you got to delete the bullet first, and then we change the value. Because otherwise, for as long as the bullet is in collision with the enemy, it's going to be subtracting 1. So the moment he hits the enemy, we want to get rid of the bullet, and then we take away 1 health. Now for this one, how do we actually kill the enemy? We're going to add the condition, and again, object, number, variable, number variable, general objects. There we go. The object, enemy. And the sign is going to be equal or less, where is it? Less or equal to 0. So if he has 0 health or less, because he can go into minuses. So for example, if he has 2 health and you hit him with like a big attack that does -3, then it's gonna take the 2 and then it's gonna go all the way down to -1, right? Because it's gonna be 2 minus 3, which is -1, right? So you always gotta make sure of this kind of stuff. Because if you put it like equal to 0, because he has 0 health, so he's dead. And then you go beyond 0, it's like it's not gonna work. Right? So just keep that in mind. And we're gonna press OK. So if the health, if the variable health, I forgot to put the name health. Sorry. There you go. So if the variable health of enemy is less or equal to 0, then the enemy gets deleted. Let's see. Preview. So now I'm going to shoot. That's 1, 2, 3. There you go. It works. 1, 2, 3. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang. See, now they have health. Cool, right? So, how do we make this more obvious? And also, so how do we apply this to the jumping? You do the exact same thing, right? Bouncing on enemies. We're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna actually we don't even need to like do two of these. Like if the health equals 0, we're just gonna leave this one alone because if the health equals 0, it's gonna delete the enemy. So we don't need to do this twice. And here we just copy paste this. Copy. Just subtract the 1. We paste there. And then we take away the delete the enemy. So now when we bounce on the enemy, we're going to take away 1 health. And when it's 0, it's going to do this one. And it's going to delete the enemy. Let's try that out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See? 1, 2, 3. Now your enemies have health. How cool is that? Right? I hope you enjoyed that one. That one's always cool, right? I love doing like combat systems and just systems in general. It's always fun when you see like cool stuff like that. It's easy to make your like you hit and then delete. It's a different thing to like start doing numbers, right? Adding health, taking away health, adding hits. That kind of stuff is really cool. I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to numbers like that. I love RPGs. But anyways, I hope you learned something. I hope this wasn't too confusing. I know variables are like big and scary, but just keep doing variables, right? Just keep following these examples. We're going to do some more variables and eventually it will click. You're going to be like, oh, that's how stuff works, right? But at first, it's going to be like, I have no idea. This makes no sense to me. It was like that for me too. It was like, oh, what does this do? And then I was like, oh, this is so simple, right? Eventually clicks in your head. Anyways, that was it. And I'll catch you guys next episode.